Part 58. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 571. Chapter 571 Chapter 575-71 The video will be sent immediately. A few minutes later. Xiao Mian was panting and couldn't stand firmly. Her legs were weak and she leaned on his chest. One hand tightly grasped the collar of his shirt. This man's kissing skills are getting better and better. Every time I kiss her, she will feel weak all over. Baby Mo. Yes, he pressed his fingers on her red and swollen lips, his eyes became hot and dark, and his voice was a little hoarse. Aren't you still feeling well? I think. No, you don't want to. Before he could say that, Xiao Mian quickly reached out and covered his mouth. Mo. Yesi, I'm going to the set in 2 days. In these 2 days, I have to hurry up and read the script. I'm going to take a shower now, and I have to read the script later. You, find something to do by yourself. Stop pestering her. She really couldn't bear it. If it was only a few minutes, she would endure it. But he is so energetic that he never seems to get tired. After Xiao Mian finished speaking, she let go of her hand and immediately turned around and ran towards the bathroom. She ran very fast. In the blink of an eye, Mo. Yesi saw that his little wife had slipped into the bathroom. Then he quickly closed the door with a snap sound. With another click, he heard her lock the bathroom door. Mo. Yesi, being guarded by his wife like a thief, and because she was afraid that he would touch her, made him feel a little uncomfortable. He once again wondered if the experiences he had at noon were not good enough, which was why she was so resistant. However, he had observed it at the time. She seems to like it very much. Could it be that she was just pretending? Mo. Yesi thought so, took out his phone, opened the browser and searched. After reading it, Mo. Yesi's confidence in a certain aspect was shaken again. For the first time, he knew that women can still pretend to be in that kind of thing. He thought solemnly, Xiao Mian was probably just pretending. Just when he was about to lock his phone, WeChat dinged. Mo. Yesi didn't add many people to his WeChat account. Hearing the WeChat prompt sound, he clicked on WeChat. Click in and see that there is new information in the group chat. This WeChat group was created by Yan Xiaoqing, and there are only 5 people in it. He, Yan Xiaoqing, Gong Zili, Lu Rao, and Shen Rou. Mo. Yesi usually doesn't bother to read group chats. After all, 8 out of 10 times when he clicks in, Yan Xiaoqing is alone in the group chatting and enjoying himself. At this moment, I felt a little irritable, so I clicked on it and took a look. Then I saw Yan Xiaoqing actually posted a short video in the group. Before Mo. Yesi could see it clearly, Yan Xiaoqing jumped out and withdrew the short video. I am your master Yan, my hands are slippery and I pronounce it wrongly. Normally, if Mo. Yesi saw Yan Xiaoqing posting such a video, he would scold him. But today, he stared at the word withdraw in the group chat for a while. After hesitating for a few seconds, he clicked on Yan Xiaoqing's profile picture and chatted with him privately. What was going on in the video you just posted? I am your master Yan, second brother, don't scold me, my hands are really slippery this time. I have withdrawn. Mo. Yesi, send me the video you just withdrawn. I am your master Yan? Second brother, what do you want to do? Mo. Yesi, stop minding your own business and send it over. I am your master Yan, with a horrified face, no, second brother. Didn't you hate me posting these short videos before? Why have you changed now? Are you really my second brother? Come here and let me listen. Mo. Yesi looked at this reply, pursed his lips, and wanted to rush out of the screen, take Yan Xiaoqing and beat him up. He did not send a voice message, but directly called Yan Xiaoqing. Over there, Yan Xiaoqing answered instantly, second brother. The video will be sent right away. After Moyesi said this in a dangerous tone, he hung up the phone. I am your master Yan, holy shit, second brother, it's really you. I never dreamed that one day you would ask me for a short video like this. Second brother, please wait, I will send you the short video right away. By the way, second brother, I not only have short videos here, but also many more. Do you want them? I am your Mr. Yan, if you want, I will package it and send it to you. I am your master Yan, an absolute classic, now out of print, he 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 he. Across the screen, Moyesi could imagine how vulgar Yan Shaoqing's expression looked when he typed these words. Yan Shaoqing had sent it to him before, but he deleted it without even clicking on it. The only person who doesn't make him feel disgusted or have a physical rejection reaction is Chiao Mian. That night, she was wearing a red dress and soaked in a bathtub filled with water. The dress on her body was completely soaked by the water and clung to her seductive body curves. Moyesi instinctively wanted to refuse. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 572. Chapter 572. You are the boss and you have the final say. But when he thought of the answers he had just searched for, he hesitated for a few seconds and slowly typed 3 words in the dialog box, send to me. Yan Shaoqing is very fast. In less than 2 minutes, a very large compressed package was sent to his mailbox. He replied to Moyesi on WeChat, second brother, I sent it to you. There are 10 in total, all classic versions. I guarantee that after reading this, your life with your sister-in-law will be much more harmonious than it is now, and your sister-in-law will love you more and more. Tell me after you finish reading it. I still have hundreds of them here. My good brother will definitely not hide them away. I will send them all to you when the time comes. Moyesi frowned when he saw this, and the man without 300 taels of silver replied, it has nothing to do with your sister-in-law, don't talk nonsense. I am your master Yan, haha, second brother, it's okay if you lie to others, but will I believe it if you lie to me? It's not shameful to learn some skills to please your wife, there's nothing to be embarrassed to admit. Moyesi, shut up. I am your Mr. Yan, okay, I shut up. If you say it's not, then it's not. You are the boss and you have the final say. Moyesi didn't want to ignore him and was about to log out of WeChat. After a few seconds, Yan Shaoqing sent another message, second brother, do you really plan to ignore the 4th child forever? I met him that day and we talked. He actually knew what he did was wrong, but... A few more seconds passed before Yan Shaoqing sent a message, in fact, he had no objection to his sister-in-law, he was just, helping Ruru to stand up. You also know that he has been very protective of Ruru since he was a child, and is reluctant to let Ruru suffer any injustice. However, he still cherishes the brotherhood between us. I think he has actually realized his mistake, but he still can't save his face for a while. How about I organize a dinner party tomorrow, and everyone can have a meal together and reconcile? The sound of water in the bathroom stopped. The closed door opened, and white steam floated out from inside. Moyesi's eyes were involuntarily attracted, and he turned his head to look in the direction of the bathroom. The white smoke dispersed, and Chiao Mian, who had just finished taking a shower, walked out of the bathroom. Wearing a pink silk suspender nightgown and a bun, she walked to the dressing table with a plain little face that had taken off all makeup. Having just taken a shower, her milky white skin looked even more supple and attractive. Under the hot water, the white and tender skin revealed a light pink color, like a ripe peach. It makes people want to go there and take a bite. From a distance, Moyesi seemed to be able to smell the alluring fragrance emanating from her body. After Chiao Mian took a shower, she sat in front of the dressing table and applied skincare products. Mo Yesi stared at her smooth and white back for a while, his eyes dimmed, his Adam's apple rolled twice, he turned around and walked slowly towards her. In WeChat. Yan Xiaoqing didn't wait for his reply, so he sent another message, "Second brother, please reply. Are you going to take your sister-in-law out for a meal tomorrow?" At this time, Mo Yesi was not in the mood to pay attention to him. Locked the phone directly, threw it on the big bed, and then slowly walked behind Xiao Mian step by step. An alluring sweet fragrance emanated from the girl sitting in front of the dressing table. It was like a poison that can make people lose their mind. It penetrated his nose in strands, and the sweetness made his mouth dry. Xiao Mian is applying skincare products. When she raised her head to apply night cream on her face, she saw a slender figure behind her in the mirror. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 573. Chapter 573. Don't leave, stay with me. The man stood quietly behind her, looking at her with a faint look in his eyes. The burning fire in his eyes was something Xiao Mian was all too familiar with. Her hands shook, and then she pretended not to see anything. After applying the skincare product in a few strokes, she got up and walked towards the bed. Behind her, the man followed her to the bedside silently. Xiao Mian. Mo Yesi, why are you still in the bedroom? Aren't you going to the study? Xiao Mian pretended not to know what he was thinking. He thought Mo Yesi's appearance was funny and a bit cute. However, she must not be soft-hearted towards this man. Xiao Mian only glanced at it, then looked away, picked up her phone from the bedside table, clicked on the email and started downloading the script. Mo Yesi's eyes seemed to be glued to her. He looked at her with hot eyes and said in a hoarse voice, "There is nothing in the company that I need to go home to deal with. I'm not very busy today." The implication is that he has a lot of time today. So, he can use it to do something he wants to do. Oh, really? Xiao Mian continued to play dumb, then you can go to bed early. Going to bed early and getting up early is good for your health. I'm going to read the script for a while. If you're sleepy, go to bed first. If you're not used to leaving the lights on in the room, if so, I'll go to the study for a while. Feeling that the eyes on her were getting hotter and hotter, Xiao Mian swallowed nervously, turned around in a panic, and wanted to walk out. Mo Yesi's look made her a little scared. Her calves were trembling. She walked out quickly, almost as if fleeing, but after taking only a few steps, the man's hot and strong arms were wrapped around her waist. The next second, the man's body radiating heat was pressed against her. He hugged her from behind. The two arms were like irons, tightly wrapped around her waist. Warm breath sprayed on the back of her neck. The man lowered his head and nuzzled her neck. His voice was hoarse and sexy. "Baby, is the script as good as mine? Are you willing to leave your newlywed husband and go to the study alone? Don't go, stay with me. Didn't you say you like my face? Then I'll let you take a good look at it, okay?" The last sentence was said against her ear. Xiao Mian felt like her ears were almost pregnant. The man's voice was so suave and alluring that she simply couldn't resist. Ah! Mo Yesi, this stinky man, is so shameless. To achieve his goal, he even used seduction. But even if she knew that he was deliberately trying to seduce her, facing such a handsome husband who would make people close their legs, she simply couldn't resist this obvious temptation. Mo Yesi. Xiao Mian's voice trembled as she felt the man's hand around her waist getting tighter and tighter. I really want to read the script." The man released one hand from her waist and slowly moved it up, his voice getting lower and hoarse. "You are up to you, don't worry about me." Can she ignore him? With him like this, how could she read the script? Mo Yesi, I'm really tired today. Chiao Mianmian's voice trembled again, even with a hint of crying, which sounded pitiful. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 574. Chapter 574 Chapter 574 576 Do you think I want to cry? A few seconds later, his voice sounded again with forbearance and restraint. You still feel uncomfortable? Actually, it's not that uncomfortable anymore. I felt uncomfortable for a long time. It's much better now. But Jiao Mian was really afraid that it would be endless if he started tossing it, so she nodded pitifully. Well, it's uncomfortable. So, let her go, okay. She really didn't want to be unable to get out of bed tomorrow. There was another moment of silence. Jiao Mian heard the sound of the man behind him taking a deep breath. He seemed to be trying his best to restrain something, breathing heavily, and when he exhaled, hot breath fell on the side of her neck. The arm around her waist tightened, and after waiting for a while, she heard the hoarse voice of a man behind her, okay, I won't touch you. Asterisk. After an hour. Chiao Mian had a stern face, lying on the bed angrily, leaning on her back, not wanting to pay attention to anyone at all. Baby, are you angry? On the other side of the big bed, the man pressed against her with a satisfied look on his face and stretched out his hand to hug her. There was a pop sound, and just as he stretched out his hand, it was slapped away. Mo Yesi, go away, I don't want to care about you. The fierce voice, even if it is angry, will only make people feel cute. Of course Mo Yesi knew what she was angry about. Baby, can I give you a squeeze? Mo Yesi shamelessly leaned forward again. Don't worry about it, you're just hypocritical. Chiao Mian slapped his hand away again. She was so angry that she didn't even want to talk to him. Liar, I will never believe your words again. From now on, she will never believe his words again. Men are all big hooves. I'm sorry, baby. Someone apologized quickly. After being pushed away by her, he immediately pressed up against her like a fool. Then, regardless of her struggle, he forcefully pulled her petite body into his arms and held her down. He kissed the back of her neck, and his voice was slightly hoarse after indulgence. I didn't mean it, and I won't do it again next time. Be good, give me your hand, and I'll press it for you. Chiao Mian would be a big fool if she believed in his words again. When did he not say this? But when has it been done? Chiao Mian became extremely angry when she thought of this matter. She really didn't want to talk to him anymore. This man is really disgusting. Although he took her to the bathtub to clean her up afterwards, Chiao Mian still felt that he was unforgivable. Because she felt that he did it on purpose. Normally, he looks cold and ascetic, and is extremely serious. At that time, a man's bad nature in certain aspects is completely revealed. Sure enough. A man's mouth can be relied upon, and a sow can climb a tree. Mo Yesi, don't touch. Before Chiao Mian could finish her sentence, she was forcefully pulled into his arms by the man behind her. He pressed her body, pulled her toward him, quickly found her hand, and gently held her white and soft little hand. Slender and strong fingers pressed into her palm, neither light nor heavy, and kneaded slowly. He let out a low laugh in his throat, raised his eyes and glanced at her, with a faint smile in his dark and deep eyes. His strong arms hugged her slender waist domineeringly and powerfully, and his words were also domineering and powerful. I am your husband and you are my wife. If you don't let me touch you, who do you want to touch you? In other words, who do you want your husband to touch? Chiao Mian, Mo Yesi, you. Call me husband. The arms around her waist tightened, and a strong emotion flowed in the man's deep eyes. He looked at her intently and said word by word, as if he was giving an order, "Baby, call me husband. Didn't you scream quite naturally when you were talking to Shenro in my office today? Scream again and let me hear it, eh? Chiao Mian Mian." Her face was feeling hot and her heartbeat was speeding up a lot. How can it be the same then and now? At that time, she didn't know that he was eavesdropping outside. If she knew it, she wouldn't be able to say husband. Now let her call him that in front of him. How could she have the nerve to say it out loud? Although they are indeed husband and wife, and he is indeed her husband. However, she just felt that it was so shameful to call her husband in front of her. Don't want to scream, Mo Yesi narrowed his eyes, the arm around her waist suddenly moved up, and his big hand moved dangerously to a certain place with a hot breath, and his voice suddenly became darker. Yes, do you think I'm not hurting you enough? In this case, I have to love you more. Feeling that the big hot hand was becoming more and more irregular, Chiao Mianmian's expression suddenly changed. She hurriedly reached out and held down Mo Yesi's hand. Mo Yesi, don't. Woo woo woo. She can now be sure that this man Mo Yesi is really a very human being. They had just come out of the bathroom not long ago. This man is really terrifying. Chiao Mian was really scared. Still calling her Mo Yesi, the man snorted dissatisfied, grabbed her chin, lowered his head and bit her lips hard. Chiao Mian's face wrinkled up in pain. Damn it! Is this man turned into a dog? He actually bit her, and it hurt her so much. Do you really want your husband to love you so much before you change your mind? As if one bite wasn't enough to relieve her anger, the man took the corner of her lips and bit her again. This time, the bite was not so severe. Just a light bite. But the two bites were in the same place. Chiao Mian still frowned in pain. She put her little hand on his chest and pushed him angrily. Mo Yesi, it hurts. Still unwilling to change your words, Mo Yesi's lips curved in a dangerous arc, and this time his big hand directly placed on the back of her head, deepening the punishing kiss just now. This time, it was a real kiss. The man kissed me deeply and hard. After a while, Chiao Mian was like a fish starved of oxygen. An abnormal blush appeared on her face, her eyes widened, and her breathing became rapid. When she felt that she was about to faint because she couldn't breathe, the man finally reluctantly let go of her. Fresh air flows into the mouth and nose. Chiao Mian immediately gasped for air, as if she had come to life again. She looked a little embarrassed when she took in big breaths. Although this was not the first time she kissed Mo Yesi. Furthermore, he also taught her how to breathe. However, the kiss just now was too intense and lingering, and she felt like she almost fainted from the kiss. My mind is confused and blank. How can I still remember how to take a breather? The man next to her was getting better and better at kissing. Every time she kissed him, Chiao Mian felt like she would faint. The body will also have a strong reaction. Mo Yesi looked at her funny and lovingly, stretched out a hand on her back, and gently stroked her to calm her down. You still don't know how to breathe? Is it because I didn't teach well enough, or we practice too little? How about? Chiao Mian raised a pair of tearful eyes, which were red. Although she didn't say a word, her eyes were full of accusations. As if saying silently, Mo Yesi, you are a bad person, you bully me. Mo Yesi originally wanted to force her to call her husband, but looking at her pitiful and extremely aggrieved look, he suddenly couldn't bear it. If you push him any further, he will feel like he is a bad person. But, he really wanted to hear her call him husband to her face. Although she has heard her call him that in front of others, calling him husband in front of him is completely different from calling him that in front of others. He felt that if Chiao Mian called him that in person, he would definitely lose control. When the time comes, she won't be touched. The person who feels uncomfortable is himself. Forget it, he'd better not ask for trouble. If she doesn't bark, don't bark. Anyway, their marriage certificate is gone, and he is her real husband. Sooner or later, she will have to call her husband. There is no rush for this moment. Okay, baby, if you don't want to scream, then don't scream. The man's voice was very low, very gentle, and full of coaxing and patience. Don't cry anymore, husband. It's going to hurt. Your eyes will not look good if they are swollen from crying. Xiao Mian stared at him. Do you think I want to cry? It's not because he is too beastly. The person who made her cry was obviously him, and now he was pretending to be a gentleman. Hypocrisy. Well, it's my husband's fault. Moyesi quickly admitted his mistake and apologized with a good attitude. It's my fault, it's my fault. You can hit or scold me if you want. As long as the baby stops crying, you can do whatever you want. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 575. Chapter 575. The ominous premonition is getting stronger and stronger. My dear, don't cry anymore. Tell me, how can you forgive me? When Xiao Mian thought of how cruelly she was bullied by him, she felt that she couldn't let him go so easily. Her dark eyes turned, with a hint of cunning flashing in them. That's what you said. Is it true that I can do whatever I want? Moyesi nodded. Yeah. Xiao Mian stared at his face, which was even more beautiful than a woman's, for a while, then a smirk appeared on her lips. Okay, let's make an agreement, and you won't go back on it. Moyesi suddenly had a bad premonition. He lowered his eyes and looked at the girl in his arms who was smiling with evil intentions. He couldn't help but ask, baby, what do you want me to do? You don't want to trick me? No, Xiao Mian pursed her lips, feeling secretly happy for a while, then coughed lightly and asked, am I that kind of person? Moyesi. He thought she was that kind of person. Then tell me, what do you want me to do? It's actually very simple. It's not difficult for you to operate at all. So, what exactly do you want him to do? Can you give him a good time? Xiao Mian looked mysterious. You don't have to do anything right now. I'll tell you when the time comes. Moyesi. Why is the ominous premonition in my heart getting stronger and stronger? Asterisk. The next day, Xiao Mian got up very late because she didn't have to go to school. By the time she finished washing and went downstairs, Moyesi had already finished breakfast and gone to the company. Xiao Mian made an appointment with Linda to meet at a coffee shop in the city. After she finished her meal, she asked the driver to take her to the appointed place. When she got out of the car, she happened to meet Linda getting out of a BMW. The two met in the underground parking lot. Linda was stunned for a moment when she saw her, and then looked thoughtfully at the Rolls-Royce behind her. When Linda was still working as Xiao Angzhen's agent, she knew that Xiao Mian was dating a very wealthy man. At one time, Xiao Angzhen was particularly unhappy. That time, what she saw was the man driving a limited edition Lamborghini. This time, Xiao Mian got off a limited edition Rolls-Royce. Having a limited edition $1 million luxury car is already very impressive, and now there is another one. It is also a limited edition luxury car worth tens of millions. Linda couldn't afford these cars, but she knew very well how distinguished and noble the people who owned these limited edition luxury cars were. Not to mention, she also saw the man's appearance that day. Looking back on it now, Linda still feels amazing. She has been in the entertainment industry for almost 10 years and has countless artists under her command. There are countless good-looking artists she has met. But the most handsome male artist she has ever managed was not even 1/10 as good as that man. In fact, it's not just about appearance, but more about temperament. It's hard to find another person with that kind of noble and solemn aura. If you don't grow up in a particularly privileged family environment, you won't be able to develop such aura. Suzy can be regarded as a child of a wealthy family with a good background. His appearance and some abilities are considered good among the children of wealthy families of the same age. But no matter how good it is, it cannot stand comparison. Compared with the man I met that day, the 4 words cloud and mud difference were truly and thoroughly interpreted. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 576. Chapter 576, You cannot fall in love for 3 years before signing the contract. Linda looked at it thoughtfully for a few seconds, curled her lips, a look flashed across her eyes, and she slowly looked away. She smiled and stepped forward, her high heels making a click sound on the ground, and slowly walked up to Xiao Mian. What a coincidence! Linda reached out and brushed the wavy hair hanging down on her chest, stood in front of Xiao Mian, and said with a smile, "We actually arrived at the same time." Xiao Mian also smiled at her. "Yes, what a coincidence. How about we go up together?" Although Linda has many doubts in her heart, she can control the level of gossip, so even if she is curious about something, she just pretends that she doesn't know anything. Asterisk. Go to a coffee shop. The two of them ordered a cup of coffee each. Both of them don't like to beat around the bush, so they talk about things very directly. Linda took out the printed contract and handed it to Xiao Mian. "This is the signing contract. Take a good look at it. If there are no problems, we will sign the contract." "Good." Xiao Mian got the contract and slowly read it one by one. The waiter brought the coffee to the two of them, and Linda took a sip. Seeing that Xiao Mian's eyes had not moved away from the first page of paper for a long time, she did not rush her, and said with a smile, "Look slowly, look. Be careful. I think the company's sincerity is sufficient, but if you are dissatisfied or have any questions, you can tell me directly." This was the first agency contract Xiao Mian had received in the 2 years she had been in the industry. Of course, she had to take her time and read it carefully. After reading it for a few minutes, she felt that the conditions in the contract were indeed good. As a newbie with no reputation, she can be treated with various benefits in the contract, which is considered to be very generous to her. I don't know why Linda has so much confidence in her. It's like I think she will be popular. Otherwise, we wouldn't have offered such good conditions. Even if she had not signed a relevant management contract before, she knew that if she signed a contract based on her own reputation, she would not be able to sign such a contract. I have never eaten pork, but I have also seen pigs running away. There are several types of contracts in the entertainment industry. A determines which contract to sign based on the artist's different fame and potential. For people like Xiao Mian, they usually sign the last contract. Wait until you have a certain reputation before switching to other contracts. But Linda, she was directly jumped to the A-level contract. Her contract is one level lower than that of top-tier artists. Let a newcomer without any work sign an A-level contract. In fact, Linda also has to take risks. If she still can't be popular after spending so many good resources, I'm afraid Linda won't be able to continue to stay in Huanyi. Half an hour later, Xiao Mian read all the treaties almost word for word. After reading it, I felt that Linda was taking a risk. The various conditions in this contract were much better than she had imagined. It can be said to be full of sincerity. "Have you finished reading?" Seeing her put down the contract, Linda picked up the cup and took a sip of coffee, then raised her lips and said, "What do you think? Is there anything that needs to be changed?" Xiao Mian shook her head. "No, The conditions in the contract are very good, I have nothing to be dissatisfied with. That. But. Chiao Mian hesitated, thought about it, and decided to speak out. I just read it. The contract requires artists not to fall in love for 3 years before signing the contract, right? End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 577. Chapter 577. Your boyfriend is not an insider, right? In fact, she also understands this rule. To really train a newcomer from a newbie that no one knows about to a first and second tier artist, 3 years is considered a short time. The company has spent several years carefully cultivating them, and of course they hope that the artists can devote themselves wholeheartedly to their careers. Rather than being tied down by feelings and indulging in love all day long, without seeking to make progress. Male artists are a little better in this regard. After all, most men are very rational. But once a female artist falls in love, it is easy to be sincere. It is difficult for a woman who is immersed in love to devote herself to her career. The company has such regulations because it does not want the hard work invested to be wasted. Seeing her asking, Linda basically guessed what she wanted to say next. She suppressed her curiosity and pretended not to know anything and asked, "Any questions?" "I think since you have shown sincerity, I should also be more honest." Chiao Mian said directly, "I may not be able to do this. To tell you the truth, I have a boyfriend now, and I have no plans to be with him." "Break up, so?" "Breaking up with Mo Yesi to sign a contract?" Thinking about Mo Yesi's perverted possessiveness, Chiao Mian felt that she might actually die on his bed. She would not dare to make such an attempt. What she meant was that if Linda could accept it, then they could continue talking. If you can't accept it, then there is no need to talk about signing the contract anymore. Originally, she thought Linda might reconsider or simply not sign a contract with her. Who knows, Linda didn't show any displeasure when she heard what she said. Chiao Mian even saw her eyes light up. This is the same reaction Zhang Lili usually gets when he hears interesting gossip. So what is Linda's reaction to wanting to hear gossip? Don't you think you should be concerned that she has a boyfriend and advise her to break up with her boyfriend? You should know that there are many examples of artists who had boyfriends and girlfriends before signing a contract and broke up for the sake of their own future. Is your boyfriend the man who drove you here in the Rolls-Royce today? Linda tried her best to act as if she was asking questions normally, but she didn't know that the gossipy light that had just flashed in her eyes had been replaced by Chiao's. Mian saw it? Chiao Mian, no, that's his driver. Linda nodded to express understanding. For rich people, it's normal to have a driver and so on. Your boyfriend is not an insider, is he? Linda just asked casually. Of course she knew that the man was not an insider. If there were any male artists with that kind of qualifications in the industry, she would have discovered them long ago. It is impossible not to have any impression at all. Moreover, a male artist with such good appearance and condition would have already become famous if he was praised casually. Yet, he's not an insider. Chiao Mian said half truthfully, half lie. He has opened a company and is running a small business of his own. He and we have a very good relationship, and I don't intend to because of the future is separated from him. So, if you can't accept that I have a boyfriend, then the signing of the contract will be. Linda. 2 limited edition luxury cars valued at tens of millions were driven out casually. With money and power, is it possible for someone who runs a small business to do this? But she also knew that Chiao Mian had no obligation to tell her the truth. She pretended to believe it, nodded and said, "Well, since you knew each other before signing the contract, it would be too unreasonable of me to fight against each other because of the signing of the contract." End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 578. Chapter 578 I don't want your love affairs to be made public. I didn't want you to break up. Xiao Mian was stunned for a moment, then raised her head. Can you accept this? Linda smiled with a little helplessness in her smile. To be honest, it's not very acceptable. However, if I don't accept it, you won't sign a contract with me. So, I can only compromise. Xiao Mian. I don't need to ask you to break up, but there is one thing I hope you can promise me. Linda sat up straight, with a serious expression on her face. You say. You can continue to date, but I don't want your relationship to be made public. You are not famous at all now, you are just a newcomer. If you make your relationship public when your career has not made any progress, it will be very detrimental to your future development. Linda is really optimistic about Xiao Mian. There are all kinds of red potential in Xiao Mian. So, she really wanted to sign Xiao Mian. If other artists had a boyfriend before signing a contract and refused to break up, she would not be willing to compromise like this. Because such a situation would make her take a lot of risks. But she really couldn't bear to let go of such a good seedling. But if Xiao Mian was unwilling to agree to her request, then she would have no choice but to part ways. Okay, I promise you. Xiao Mian thought about it for less than a minute before replying, you can keep the relationship secret. Anyway, she and Mo Yesi have not made it public yet. She thought that Mo Yesi could understand her. So, without discussing it with him, Xiao Mian agreed first. Linda's face showed joy and she couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Xiao Mian agreed. Otherwise, she would be really heartbroken to abandon such a good seedling. Since we have no objections to each other, let's sign the contract. Linda has always been very efficient in doing things. Things that can be solved on the spot will never be postponed until the next day. She took out a pen from her bag. Sign the contract as soon as possible, and then I can arrange your itinerary. I heard that you just signed an urban drama directed by Bai Yisheng. Ye Xiao Mian nodded. I will report to the crew in 3 days. In this case, before that, I have to arrange an assistant for you. Linda thought for a while and then said, because you don't have any grades yet, so there may not be a way to help you apply for a nanny car or something. At most, it will just be I can apply for an assistant. Xiao Mian never thought about the nanny car at all. She knows her rank clearly. You have to be at least in the 3rd tier before you dare to mention a nanny car. Even if Linda didn't explain it to her this time, she wouldn't be able to make the request. Sister Xie, in fact, you don't need to apply for an assistant. Since she decided to let Linda be her manager, Xiao Mian naturally had to change her name. Linda's surname is Xie, so it would be more appropriate for her to call her sister Xie. This "thank you sister" made Linda feel particularly comfortable. She thinks Xiao Mian is a very capable little girl. Unlike Xiao Angzhen. When she was still in Xinggui, one of the Xinggui artists politely called her sister Xie. Only Xiao Angzhen, because she was Suzi's woman, called her by her first name. I was never polite in front of her. Thinking about how long she had endured Xiao Angzhen, she had the best temper ever. You must have an assistant. Linda's tone became much gentler. It will be much more convenient to have an assistant to help you take care of many things. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 579. Chapter 579, I broke up with her just a few days ago, and I have a new goal? You can't handle it alone. Besides, you are the artist I signed with great difficulty, so I can't treat you badly. Xiao Mian is not pretentious either. After refusing for a moment, he nodded and agreed, okay, thank you, sister. Finding an assistant will only do her good, not bad. Of course she wants an assistant in her heart. Bai Yusheng's dramas are always good. You signed your first drama to him, and he was the third female lead. This is a good starting point. Linda pondered for a moment and analyzed, first make money with this drama. If you become more popular, the road ahead will be much easier. He is very good at promoting newcomers, and many artists who have acted in the plays he directed have become popular, so you must act well and be attentive. Linda was not surprised that Jiao Mianmian was able to sign the role of the third female lead. She already knew Jiao Mianmian's strength. If Jiao Angzhen hadn't been obstructing her all these years, even though Jiao Mianmian might not be popular, she would still be much better than she is now. It will definitely be no problem if you work as a third-tier player. I know, Sister Xie, don't worry, I will definitely perform well. Asterisk. Come out of the cafe. Jiao Mianmian was just thinking about whether to go back and read the script or go to the Mo family to see Mo Yesi. Before she could decide, she saw a familiar figure that she didn't want to see. Beside the cafe, there is a high-end Western restaurant. A man and a woman walked out of the revolving glass door. The man in front was wearing a white shirt and white trousers. He looked as gentle and handsome as jade. His slender and straight figure and outstanding appearance attracted the attention of several members of the opposite sex. Also included is the beautiful woman wearing a designer suit next to him. The two were chatting and laughing, and seemed to be having a great time. As she was walking down the stairs, the woman's long and thin high-heeled shoe suddenly spun, and her bumpy body fell forward, almost falling to the ground. Fortunately, the man next to her came to the rescue in time and stretched out his hand to hug her. Then take advantage of the situation and take the person into your arms. The woman fell into his arms, her face turned red all of a sudden, she raised her head and looked at him with spring in her eyes. That shy expression makes you fall in love at first sight. Suddenly seeing this scene, Jiao Mianmian felt as uncomfortable as swallowing a fly. Although, she had known for a long time that Suzy was not a good person. But, isn't Suzy and Jiao Angzhen together now? And Jiao Angzhen is still pregnant with his child. Why is he flirting with other women in broad daylight? Even if you are a scumbag, you won't be so impatient. Having broken up with her just a few days ago, you have a new goal? Jiao Mianmian really felt that this man was constantly pushing her limits. When she thinks he is already shameless, he can do something even more shameless and disgusting. After the woman fell into Suzy's arms, she didn't move again. Of course, Suzy didn't push her away. The two looked at each other affectionately for a while. Suzy seemed to suddenly feel something and turned around suddenly. Jiao Mianmian wanted to withdraw her gaze, but it was too late. For a moment, the two looked at each other. The moment he saw her, Suzy was obviously shocked, his eyes wide open with a surprised look on his face. Jiao Mianmian didn't expect to be discovered by him. What's funny is that she actually saw a trace of panic in Suzy's eyes. It was as if he had been caught by her doing something wrong. But the reality is that the two of them have broken up long ago, and there is no relationship anymore. Thank you to Cai Sukin's favorite woman. The rain in Tokyo spreads to Paris, 137-35-92, 139-26, 152-07 for the reward. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 580. Chapter 580. I am almost going crazy with jealousy. It was as if he had been caught by her doing something wrong. But the reality is that the two of them have broken up long ago, and there is no relationship anymore. She didn't even know what was causing Suzy's panic. For a great ex who had disgusted her many times, Jiao Mianmian had no intention of reminiscing with him. She felt uncomfortable even with a few more seconds of eye contact. She stared at Suzy for a few seconds, with a sarcastic arc at the corner of her lips, then withdrew her gaze, turned and walked towards the roadside. Uncle Lee sent her here because he was originally going to wait for her. But Jiao Mian was afraid of keeping him waiting too long, so she let him go first. She walked to the side of the road to see if there were any empty taxis on the street. Just after being responded to by Suzy, she decided to go to Moyesi to wash her eyes and calm her mood. However, before an empty car could be found, an annoying sound came from behind. Mian, please listen to my explanation. It's not what you see. I have nothing to do with that woman. Suzy chased after him in a panic. When he first saw Xiao Mian, he was really surprised and pleasantly surprised. He never expected to meet the woman he thought about day and night in a place like this. But then, when he saw the sarcastic curve at the corner of Xiao Mian's lips, his surprise turned into panic. Seeing her turn around and leave without hesitation again, he panicked and chased after her without thinking about anything else. The woman who was with him was pushed away by him and almost fell to the ground again, stamping her feet in anger. But Suzy had no time to take care of her. His heart is full of Xiao Mian. The woman who originally thought that after breaking up with him would become haggard, decadent, and unable to recover, not only did she not become as miserable as he expected, but she was so beautiful that he was moved by it again. The moment he saw her just now, Suzy's breathing stopped for several beats. The heartbeat also stopped for several beats. She is still the same as before, she doesn't like makeup very much, and she dresses very plainly and simply. However, no matter how simple she is, she cannot hide her original beauty. She looks countless times more beautiful in casual clothes than the woman next to him who has exquisite makeup and exquisite clothes. Easily, you can attract all his attention. She was beautiful before, but now, even more beautiful. And she looks a little different now than before. The beauty that used to be purely girlish now seems to have a bit more of a charming femininity. Suzy is also a man who has experienced several women. Hence, it was immediately obvious where Xiao Mian had changed. Thinking that she had been touched by another man, he felt sour and jealous, and also felt a lot of unwillingness. It was as if a treasure that should have belonged to him, that he had treasured for a long time without touching it, now belonged to someone else. Every place he was reluctant to touch has been touched by others. As soon as he thought about it, the woman he wanted so much had already been touched by another man. Her first time was given to another man. Suzy was so jealous that he almost went crazy. He had guarded her for so many years, but she refused to give it to him. Always say they can't do that kind of thing until they get married. But why can she give herself to other men before marriage? For a moment, he felt betrayed, angry and cuckolded. He stretched out his hand to grab her, wanting to ask why she could give it to other men but not him. End of this chapter.